The story was amazing. The writing was one of the very best that I had ever came across in a Korean webnovel. And that is exactly why it almost physically pains me that such an amazing novel has such stupid motherfricking infuriating plot development. Have you ever come across a novel that makes you feel like it could be the best thing you have ever read, but then the plot develops in a way that makes your heart seize up in terror? And as you continue reading through the novel, you slowly realize that the bad premonition on the back of your mind is slowly but surely coming true and your heart grows through terror, despair, disappointment, and then anger. Well, that's my experience with SSS-Class Suicide Hunter. You know what this video is going to be in 2 segments. First, where I discuss spoiler-free about what went wrong with this webnovel, and why I think it missed its opportunity to become a masterpiece. At least for me personally. And why I came from loving the main character to wanting to strangle him from across the boundary of the real and fictional world. And then the other segment is going to be with spoilers, talking about the exact arcs and the chapters that made me unable to read the webnovel any further. So here is the spoiler-free part. Firstly, the first 50 chapters are chef's kiss masterpiece good. But here is my problem with the story. The story is too much about the main character. I know that sounds like a stupid criticism. Like, of course he is the main character, the story is going to be all about him. No, people, the degree to which this novel, and many other webnovel, makes everything all about the main character is just too infuriating to read sometimes. Here, let me try and get you to be on the same wavelength as me. Imagine a story with good world building, interesting characters and many cool and emotional subplots with many hot waifus and some deep history intertwined within. Now imagine all of that just exist for the main character's convenience. The world building will screw itself over whenever main character needs it to. The interesting side character, well, they are only interesting when they get to have some pages of screen time with the main character. Without that, they might not even exist for all you know, they don't even matter to the plot. Only the main character does. No side character even comes close to the level of the main character. Except if they are female, then there are a few exceptions. But male side characters, nah bro, for all intent and purposes they are just there to make the main character feel awesome. The interesting subplots, well, they are all for the main character's taking, along with all the hot waifus in it. If he wishes so. At least it's not some trashy harem novel, so the guy doesn't have multiple waifus. But for all intent and purposes, the female side character in all the subplot exists, so that they can have a one-sided crush on the main character. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the recipe webnovel that infuriates me even more so than the actual trash ones. Cause these types of webnovel could have been actually good, if only the author had not been obsessed with his not-so-badass main character. And treating it like it's the best and the most impressive thing about the novel. When it's really not. At least in this SSS-Class Sucide Hunter novel, the main character is by far not the most impressive thing about the novel. But they continue treating him as such. And it's not like they don't have any compelling side character. In fact, that might be the most irritating thing about this novel. They have a whole arsenal of compelling, interesting character, but they are never used. Never used. Never. It's amazing how they go about establishing the backstory in all of these side characters, but they are all pretty much useless and helpless without the main character. And technically the main character shouldn't be such an all-rounder, most resourceful character out there either. Cause let me tell you a bit about the start of SSS-Class Suicide Hunter. Our protagonist starts off as this jealous keyboard warrior who is overly obsessed with people on screen. And is a loser in all aspects of his life. Until 10 chapters later, where he is not. That's right. In a span of 10 chapters, not only does his personality get fixed and he becomes this honest and kind guy who is very different from all the other bad people in this cruel world of hunters. He also, miraculously, becomes the smartest motherfucker around. And suddenly his traits like obsessive jealousy are actually turned into good things that makes him better of a human being than everybody else. How does that even make sense? But that's what happens, but you know what, I was alright with that. In the beginning, at least. Then the story progressed and I lost my shit, coping up with this bastard main character. I can't really talk about it without spoilers, so here is this video's second segment where I got full into spoiler territory and talk about the 2 arcs that made me lose faith in this novel. Firstly, the Muram zombie arc. Don't get me wrong, I won't say it was outright bad. In fact, it was emotional, it was heart-moving. At first, the 3 years of oath between the Muram leader and the demon cult leader was emotional as heck. I got so invested in it. Until the main character decided to become the biggest simp for the demon cult leader. Here's the thing about it. The emotional thing is that there are 2 characters, the righteous sect old leader and the demon sect lady master, who have been in battle for so long, having mutual respect for each other. That was the emotional part about the arc at the start. So why did our dear protagonist completely ignore the old righteous sect leader, went straight to be the disciple of the demon sect lady, and said thing like, I want to be the only reason for your existence. Even if you lose everything, I want you to live on cause you have me. Bitch, she knows you for 10 days, and you are out here trying to become the most important person in her life, completely disregarding the poor old man, who is going to die first because of the conditions around him. Why did he have to do that? No way. I could have been the only one who got major simp vibes from him. Not only that, the main character was also jealous in some pages, of the bond that the demon sect leader and the righteous sect leader share. Like yeah bitch, they have been fighting for 3 years in an apocalypse, of course they are going to have a deeper bond than your ass who dropped in 10 days ago. Or at least that's what I think should have happened. But of course, he is the main character. In under 10 days, he becomes the precious disciple of the demon waifu. And that's not even the most annoying thing about it. In the start of this arc, I was so excited that we were going to get to know more about Venomous Snake. He seemed like such an interesting character. Especially since he also managed to be the disciple of the righteous sect leader who the protagonist had just abandoned. But turns out Venomous Snake just had the bare necessary role to progress the plot. My man wasn't even in the climax of the arc. That is how you waste an interesting as frick character. And talking about character wastage, let's move on to the next arc that finally broke the camel's back. The Romance Academy arc. In the start of this arc, all seemed nice and interesting and I let my hopes up. Cause after struggling through the previous arc I needed some good things to make me keep reading on with this novel. But alas, that didn't happen. The start was good. We got Heretic, a psychopath, who I thought we were gonna learn more about in this volume. Along with the relationship between the protagonist and Heretic. But then they introduced a female side character. An interesting female side character, that talked about love. And from a mile away I saw what was coming. The main character talked about wanting to understand her. And I knew that even though this chick is supposedly head over heels over Crown Prince, the main character is going to get her. Frick Heretic, his role is done. All his role was to get the character to meet this girl and now that's done. Doesn't matter what the supposed plot of the novel that they have entered is. This is going to turn into a love story, all about our main character. Like come on man, why? Why this, just after he was done simping over his beautiful master? I am not saying the writing is bad, the writing is amazing. But it's like reading freaking Twilight. Like oh, they are kissing now. Oh, they have entered a fake relationship to make the crown prince jealous. Oh, they are kissing a lot now. Oh, they are actually in a relationship. Oh, now they are married. And what about all the other side character in the meantime? What about the crown prince, who the new waifu of the main character loved oh so much in the past? Well, he is just a ramen head, no one needs to know any more about his character. That's such bullshit. Like how come every female side character that the MC meets has some compelling life story and the MC just feels so sympathetic towards them, but when the same complicated life story is there for the male side character, the MC doesn't even bat an eye. I don't know why, or how. But by the end of that arc I like that fricking ramen head crown prince main character more than our MC. And that is mainly cause everything has become too convenient for the MC. Like think about it, the villainous character had 13 different guys trying to woo her before. So technically she should be prepared not to love anyone that is coming from another world. And she succeeds in it, until our dear oh so honest kind protagonist comes, and she suddenly breaks out of the complex heavily one-sided relationship that she had with the crown prince. Like, the main character literally got the girl cause he wasn't trying to be like the other guys. That's bullshit, bro. That's what r/nice guys dream about. That shit doesn't actually happen. Well, technically it didn't actually happen. It just happened in some fantasy regression novel. But still, it ruined my immersion and that is why I don't think I will pick up this novel again. Cause frankly the main character irks me far too much. I don't wanna see him being strangely honest and kind and every other character just loving the shit out of it, even though he was introduced as a greedy, jealous, shitty character in the first place. He irks me too much man. I don't know what else to say.